you're welcome back in the second session. And we were handling a topic of discussion, solving the youth unemployment problem. We continue to ask ourselves and be able to solve this problem at the same time that will skilling and enterprising be the answer for economic empowerment. Our dear guests, once again, for those who've joined us, we are with Miss Chomohanji Dorothy, and we are blessed to be with you, Madam, to get a lot of, the experiential sharing as the Director of Asset Profiling Management, a company which deals with business consult, especially to support whosoever wants to start a business. Please, this is just a free announcement. You can come to Madam Chomohanji Dorothy. Maybe she will even avail to us the telephone contact, since you have served the public, so that they can come. And she was telling us that they are passionate, that if you start a business, it shouldn't fail. If you're outside there, been starting a business and doesn't make it, please, this is the time. And please also don't shy away from partnering with us, because Smart 24 TV drives business. And also, we have Mwez Alex, the banker, and in one of the area of expertise, he heads business investment. Mr. Alex, all over the country, they are looking at you this evening. You need to provide some recommendations how people can do, especially the youth, to do business investment, enterprise, and be successful. And you are linked very much to where money comes from. What has been a problem to us? Why is it that money is very difficult to access to Ugandans? I also agreeing with maybe Mr. Rukundo Arbano, yes, who are saying that we are having three classes: those who are advantaged to access money and those who are not advantaged to access money. But there's a point. There are those also who can access land and who cannot access land. Yet, we are saying the youth should be enterprising. And also, please, again, to the benefit of the guests, I mean the viewers, Mr. Rukundo Arbano, he's passionate, and as you see him, when he thinks about the youth, he remembers what they are going through. Maybe as you were seeing him, I believe you were seeing the attachment. He's an advocate and an activist in that, fight against social injustice. You'll come back again, Mr. Alex. Please, would like to have solutions to these problems we are facing, and to have the realization of Uganda skilling. I heard there was a program which was called Skilling Uganda. Should it only remain on word, on paper? And yet we have all it takes. You've said you have knowledgeable people are educated, the government is there. You're welcome again, sir.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the show. And once again, good evening to our viewers. And the problem has been stated very well. Research has been done, and it's well known that there's a youth unemployment problem. And of course, we have even held various conferences, locally and globally, to address the issue of youth unemployment. But it remains a challenge.
Did you reach a level of dialogue and maybe you come up with recommendations?
Of course, policy statements have been presented year in and year out, with really the motivation and the desire to address this challenge. So it's a challenge that is known.
Yes, sir.
And there are deliberate efforts to address this challenge.
Thank you.
Every time we are talking about enterprise development, we should also not forget about the factors of production.
Enterprise development.
Yes. There are factors of production. One of them is land. The other one is capital. What else? The other factors of production. But today I want to focus mainly on land and capital. How is it easy for our youth to access land? How is the nature of our land ownership? This takes me back to our cultural mindsets. Land is owned by men, and men, I mean fathers. I'm sure Dorothy is aware that up to now women are still struggling to have access to land. So we also need to tackle cultural issues. You've heard in the past young people killing their parents because they want to have access to land. So this is an issue that needs to be tackled. Because if you are to access any financial, there will be need for some form of collateral. And this collateral could either be land, it could be cash cover, it could be group arrangements. So we need to access, we need to, there's need to be deliberate, we need to take some deliberate efforts to address on how young people can access land. We have already talked about capital. We need to work hard as a country, excuse me,
Yes, please.
to make it easy for young people to access low-cost capital. In the banking sector, at a strategic level, there have always been discussions. How possible is it for banks to access NSSF funds? Because NSSF is a very big fund. And interestingly, you find that most of this fund is invested outside.
So they used outside there is no NSSF, and they're saying, "Hi, you look now." The banker is saying, "NSSF have not worked, have not saved."
No, I'm not. You see, it's not the source of capital does not bother the youth so much.
Yes.
All the youth is asking for is what institutional mechanism is in place that I can go to with my idea,
Yes.
and there is low cost capital,
I get
or
it.
there is a grant. So the moment you have, you see, the moment you open up and you can, banks can access, for example, NSSF capital, this means that you have access to long-term funds. Our nature of capital today is short-term. Now, to invest in startups, as Dorothy is aware, you need long-term funds. Now, a commercial bank cannot give you money for 24 months and you're not paying anything. Now, for a startup, you need to give me grace period of about up to 36 months. Those are 3 years when I'm actually not paying anything. But all you're doing is having someone like Dorothy, who is in the business, who offers business development services,
As you
holding you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
As you come to, your first submission, end of your first submission, we normally say it's not yet last but not least. We have a challenge of the interest rate. Even as we're talking about capital, someone, when you tell him about something called the loan, and with our state of banks in Uganda, where the interest rate is so high, so we say, "You man, you want me to be killed?" And we say, "Leave, you stay with your money." Yet the economic empowerment you are talking about, and the financial literacy that Madam was able to point on, requires proper understanding on how one can be safe even if you are able to go for credit. Because we have Ugandans, some are about to run away, others even they have committed suicide because of the issue of loans, unable to pay loans. What advice and guidance would you give to the youth and anyone outside there so that enterprising cannot be a burden but can be an opportunity?
Yeah, thank you so much. You see, there are so many reasons why loans go bad. One of them is character. You borrow money, you come and tell me that I have this proposal, I'm going to start a dairy project. I give you money, you go and buy a Mercedes-Benz. You have diverted the money. My justification for lending it to you was that once you put money in the dairy project, it will generate cash flows to pay the loan. But I can assure you the Benz will never generate cash flows. It will only generate the expenses.
Let me take it lower. I'm moderate indeed. We're having a challenge where someone sells land. This one is related with what you're saying.
Yes.
Sells the land and go to buy a motorcycle youth. A land of 6 million and go to buy a Boxer.
Yes.
And then after buying a Boxer, the fuel prices hikes up and doesn't know where to invest. Madam, you come on him, you'll be coming in again maybe to give us the final say. You'll come again.
The issue of land. Again, I'm not going to be shy to say that business development services is the key. Because you see now, for us as service providers, we have access to certain information that can actually help these people. You don't necessarily have to own land. I tell you that. You do not necessarily have to own land. You can actually rent land at a very cheap cost. At a very cheap cost. 100,000, 200,000 a year. If you're really invested in 200,000, you cannot fail to utilize that land to get you 1 million shillings. Okay? So it is that kind of knowledge that is going to actually bring people out of the fear of, you know, I do not have land. And then secondly, commercial banks, yes, we have access to you know, some of these commercial banks, but the interest rates are really prohibitive.
Madam, before you go to the commercial banks, it's a good point, and we'll go to that, then we receive him. We are dealing with the population outside there, beginning with the urban community and the rural. One is saying, me, I'm renting somewhere, and want to hear from you, especially as our consultant tonight, how he can make it, maybe in this small space we are in, with because the land, when we talk about land, any small space is land, and yet it is a paradox to know which land one can either, you know, whether, as you said, renting or whether hiring, whether owning. How can one, you know, enter into like one case of a business and tell someone at least to hit the road and become somebody?
Are you asking me what kind of business somebody can do?
Yes, for instance, yeah, I would like to have that experiential sharing briefly.
I want to give you maybe a small experience. Like I've said, we're dealing with farmers across this country. And we have found that having huge chunks of land, yes, it's good. You can do on a very large scale, and that is for people who have the money. But you can even start slowly. You can rent maybe 2 acres of land, 1 acre of land.
2 acres.
Go for a high value horticultural crop. Say, for example, green chilies.
Green chilies.
We have already market for the chilies. Just grow it. It will take you about 3 months. You'll start harvesting, and you'll harvest for 6-8 months. You will have amassed some capital really to even expand and scale your business. That is one thing. Green chilies, look at high value crops. Chilies, there's hot pepper, even potatoes. You know that a lot of potatoes are being exported out of this.
Irish?
Sweet potatoes.
Oh.
Yes. Sweet potatoes are being exported.
People, they don't know this information, madam.
And we even reach a point that the people that we are doing these exports do not even have product. And they're looking, where can where can we get this product? So we're running around looking for farmers that, you know what, do ABCD, have us some chilies, have us some potatoes for export.
For export.
Yes.
So next time you give us the guidance about where people to access market, because as Comrade talked about, land, capital, then productivity, then market. That cycle, that chain needs, you know, it needs input. You were talking about also the issue of interest rate. In just 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes.
As we will come.
Yes. Now the interest rates, of course, are very prohibitive. I'm going to focus so much on agriculture, on the agriculture sector. Really, how do you expect somebody, a farmer, small scale, large scale, name it, to take on a loan that is going to pay 26%? How do you expect this person to make money? And I would really like to call upon the government to think about an agricultural bank.
An agricultural bank?
An agricultural bank, because Uganda is an agricultural economy. We have to put our money where our mouths are. Agriculture is the mainstay of this economy. Money should be put in agriculture. We need to have an agricultural bank that is going to support the farmers. And we have youth who are a very, very good source of labor for agriculture. And so many youth are actually interested in agriculture. You would be very surprised.
Okay.
They no longer see agriculture as that farmer with a hoe, and no, it has evolved.
Thank you so much. And I have not yet forgotten the point for purpose of the viewers' benefit. Incubation centers, you know, there is what we call private sector. And I pray that maybe as, you know, you will expand your capacity, that will be part of the pattern of the government to support the incubation centers. Absolutely. And so that our youth can have where to run to.
Absolutely. Because
when you speak that outside there, they're saying, now where can we get that knowledge, the financial literacy? Mr. Rukundo, you are welcome again to give us your passionate submission about this scenario of where we would like to have a solution not only talking about the problem, but the problem we accept that's there.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor, and our viewers for actually giving us your time. You know, I've talked about the challenge of socio-economic segregation as the main challenge affecting the youth actually in Uganda. And I would like to elaborate more on this point. You know, I give an example of last year. You know, I've told you I'm doing marketing. I'm marketing the university. And
Which university is that?
I'm marketing Kampala University.
Okay, thank you.
And last year, when I was actually following up, Kampala University is one of the universities that actually benefit on the government loan scheme. So I want to tell you on this point of the socio-economic segregation. We have a program, a government program, the government loan scheme program, whereby it helps the students who have actually finished senior 6 and they need to go to the university and maybe they are not well off and they are in the third class, as I have stated there. They are poor, they come from poor families. But of course, due to this challenge of the socio-economic segregation, you will find that they will ask you, who are you? Who knows you in the government? I can just give an example. In the last academic year, 2021, 45 students were selected from Ntungamo to benefit on the government loan scheme. And actually, 25 students were selected from Kigezi sub-region. Can you imagine?
25.
25 from Kigezi sub-region.
What
And remember,
about sub-region?
Kigezi sub-region, we have actually...
You know, we have 21 around 22.
no, you know, we have Kigezi sub-region, we have Ankole, we have Rukunjiri, we have Kanungu, we have actually Rwanda, we have Kabare.
Is the scheme only for Western?
That is for Kigezi as a sub-region. Then we have, it is not for only Western, it is for the whole country. Yeah. So we find it like in Kigezi, only 25 students benefited on the government loan scheme.
Okay.
And 45 students benefited on the government loan scheme just in Ntungamo district, just one district. But I've calculated for the districts, Rukunjiri, Kanungu, of course, Kigezi, I mean Kabare, Rwanda, and Chisoro. So I think, to my own opinion, I don't know whether it is because the Minister of Education comes from Ntungamo, and that is why Ntungamo benefits a lot in this scheme.
So we come to the point on how can we solve the youth unemployment problem, and whether now in your recommendations, whether which kind of skilling do you recommend the viewers? They have sons and daughters and others are viewing us, and which kind of enterprising that you recommend as the way of economic empowerment. You have 3 minutes and we close.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. You know, I want our dear youth that actually let us not be dependent. We need to be independent. We need to know what we want. You know, when we become independent, you have to think. You think of an idea, you be self-initiative, like that kind of a business that you can start as a person. You have to think, yes, I've gone to the university, I've gone to maybe Makerere, I've gone to Chambogo, or any university. But you know, let us not based on that. Think, where do I come from? Because as we have seen in Uganda, to get a job, they will ask you who knows in the government. Tell us in the name of a person who is working in the Ministry of...
Mr. Rukundo, we are still together. Don't worry with my question.
So let me finish up this point. So I want to argue the issue that actually let us not be dependent. Let us be independent. Let us think on actually what we can do best. If I come from Rukunjiri, if I come maybe from Bwambara sub-county, and I know those people are good at actually they do rice farming and whatever. So I can go down, even if I've done my bachelor's degree in the business administration, I can go down on the grassroots. I do my actually rice farming. Let us be self-initiative and self-motivated. Let us not based on the government. We can do well, we can develop ourselves without actually the help of the government. That is why I'm arguing the youth that let us be dependent. Let us be independent and think of what we can do best. Even if you have actually studied mass communication, doesn't mean that you have to work in the radio. It doesn't mean you have to work in actually television. You can do another business, as she has said. You can start up a poultry farming. You can start up actually. You can go deep in agriculture. There are very many things you can do. I
So
don't
you're
agree.
encouraging the youth to stop on looking at the degree certificate they have.
And actually
They
the
do available
government,
job.
and actually the government,
And also
because
the government.
me personally, the government has not helped me.
Mhm.
It has not given me a job. I studied. I'm a
It has
Uganda.
provided this security
So,
to
so,
secure.
and it is its role. It has provided the security. It is its role. So I want the youth. Let's go on the ground. Think of what we can do best. Don't rely on what has the government done for me. The government actually is not supposed to do for you to get for a job. It is not its role to get for you a
Thank
job.
you. Give us your last
Thank you.
word as you say bye to the viewers.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Tindeba.
Yes, please.
As actually I finish up, I actually want to first of all thank our dear viewers actually for giving us your time, watching the Point program, which actually has been a very good. We have actually had a very good discussion on how we can actually fight against this unemployment problem amongst the youth. As I wind up, I want to urge the youth that let us really work hard. Let us stop being dependent. Let us be independent.
Thank you.
That is why I can say I remain Alban Rukundo. Thank you, dear viewers.
Yeah, Mr. Alex, your last word of encouragement and creating hope to the viewers.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the show.
Yes,
I want
sir.
to make 3 points. One, we keep talking about skills, where we should not forget that there's the hard skills and the soft
The
skills.
soft skills, yes.
The hard skills is the going to school, you study how to fix wires,
Mhm.
fix this, but we forget that soft skills are very, very important.
Soft skills.
Soft skills.
They include.
We are in a global, we are operating in a global environment.
Yes, please.
One of them, you must know customer care, you must know how to relate with people,
Mm.
you must know how to market yourself.
Mm.
We also keep talking about capital. Capital has evolved. There is both the capital we are used to and the social capital.
Social capital.
You must invest in social capital.
That's important.
You are a young person, you are in your own world, people are mobilizing to complete a church in a village. You think, I don't have money, I don't need to participate.
Mhm.
Just avail yourself. There could be other roles you can play without necessarily having to provide the money as they mobilize for the church.
I get
Now,
you.
as you do that, you're getting to know people. You're getting to understand a number of things
Social capital.
and acquiring skills.
Mhm.
You could be a chairman of a wedding.
Mhm.
I can tell you there are skills you pick there that you cannot pick from school.
Mhm.
How do you mobilize it to 100 million?
So you are saying that you should think outside the box.
Yes.
They should get all wider skills that
Yes.
can enable them survive.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So really, those are some of the things that, as we clamor for this and this, these are things that the young people must invest in time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time,
Yes,
our
please.
dear viewers.
Mm.
Thank you for sparing your time to listen to us. I hope we have made sense in your lives.
It's a pleasure. Your last word in 1 minute as we close.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tindeba.
Yes, madam.
Our dear viewers, today we were tackling a very, very important issue. I'm sure those of you that are watching agree we have a youth unemployment problem. Now, as far as tackling this big problem, I have 3.
You may mention one, then next time I invite you, mention. Okay, you can summarize.
Okay, I'm going to summarize what it is. Youth should not give up. We know, we are seeing them. We are seeing them, we understand their plight. We are advocating for youth to actually be considered as a very, very important demographic in this country.
Yes.
So, 1, financial literacy is very, very important.
Mhm.
You have to know how to use this money, and you have to want to succeed.
Thank you.
2, innovation.
Mhm.
We have youth that have innovated. Actually, this is a tech generation.
Mhm.
There are a lot of innovations that can come up and that these youth have.
You understand?
If we could get patient capital, venture capital,
Mhm.
you will be surprised what will come out of this country.
Mhm.
Thirdly, incubation centers.
Mhm.
We need to nurture these youth. We need to nurture their talents. We need to nurture, their innovations. And they can only do this through incubation centers, coming, of course, hand in hand with the business development services. Once we handle those issues, really, we should have a youth population that is employed, that is happy, that is getting what they deserve.
Thank you for empowering the youth tonight. And I believe with this information, it is readily available as you access it to add what you've been missing in this current trend of the unemployment. Thank you for being with us on Smart Television 24, Smart 24 Television, and we encourage you to remain inspired and not expired. And with that, we believe we can have our country, Uganda, as a better place to live in. Good night until we meet again. But it is our cardinal role and responsibility, the government, the youth outside there, make sure that you don't allow any frustration to be with you, but keep on hoping, keep on going. God bless you.